and welcome to Matters Arising on Landslide Podcast this afternoon. All that has happened within the polity in the last 24 hours and even till now. Joining me on the set again is Ishaya and Philip, helping me to look at all the insights into all the matters. You guys welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. You guys are not looking too bright, you're not encouraging.
Thank you, Mr. PK.
Is it because you heard that the president is traveling for 10 days?
we are not looking bright because the economy is stabilized on paper, but in reality, we are not seeing anything. Hunger is ravaging our homes and society. They are telling us the economy has stabilized. How do you expect us to be happy?
Well,
he's going for vacation.
Yeah, 10 days vacation to be spent between.
Medical vacation.
Well, they didn't say medical.
They will not tell us.
They just said annual vacation.
Let me go to.
He just came back from Brazil/Japan.
Yeah,
Yes.
let me go to.
So what is the vacation all about?
National hospital?
And then do his vacation there.
No, national hospital?
Yes, if it's a medical vacation.
Everything has stabilized. Is the hospital not health center not stabilized?
We go to a medical hospital. Everything has stabilized.
If you say the economy has stabilized, the education says stabilized, the health center, so why going outside then?
We'll go to Lagos. He has a house there. What does he need? Food? They have plenty of them.
Well, this vacation is going to be spent between France and United Kingdom
Okay.
before he returns back
Wish
to
him well.
Nigeria.
Wish him well. Wish him well.
Well, on the stability that the president talked about, Mr. Peter Obi took him on that and said, he said we've not seen what you are talking about. He said there's no impact of the stability of the economy that you are talking about. What will you say to that?
I think Peter Obi had spoken the mind of Nigerians because Mr. President came on air and stated that Nigeria becomes now attractive to globally because the economy has stabilized and that he thanked Nigeria for their patience and he likened Nigeria to a sick man who was losing blood and hemorrhage and all of that. He said the hemorrhage has stopped, the patient is out of the hospital. Thanks for your patience and your prayers. And Peter Obi said, really, are we out of the hospital or we just went into ICU? Because from our indication, farmers cannot yet access their farms. The Nigerian roads are not motorable. Not only that they are not motorable, people are being kidnapped on daily basis on the account of bad roads. The level of insecurity did not has escalated. Kidnapping and the insurgency, banditry is on the high rate. So where is this stability in the lives of the people? Because we're also aware that the borders have been open for grains to be allowed into the country to cushion the effect of the food shortage. So where is the security? Is it that the farmer has access to their farm and they are producing more food from the farm? Is it that more industry company has been established in Nigeria and more people are now gainfully employed? Or it doesn't make sense to Peter Obi, and he wants the president to show the reality of this stability in the lives of people. And he said the stability is not on conferences or press conferences where you read out figures and data that cannot reflect in the life of the people. So that should be stability. Stability should be on the people's life, which I tend to agree with him.
Peter Obi, he said Nigeria remain in hardship. He said despite the claim of meeting 2025 revenue target. Now, revenue is what you use to develop the country. Now, if it has met the revenue target, we've seen a lot of what's it called, contractors protesting, both federal, FCT contractors. They've been protesting that they've not been paid. We still see our roads not doing well. I mean, you travel between Benin and Sapele and Warri, it had become a death trap. One of my friends told me that he was coming from Warri. They had to pass through Asaba to Benin, which is a much longer route, wasting economic money. We don't see the road from Abuja to Kaduna on a nylon tie. Even between Abuja here and Kefi, the road is not still, just between Abuja here, Karo and Kefi, the road is still very bad. The one that was done between, from Kefi to Benue was done by the Buhari administration under Abakari's watchful eyes. How has life improved for us?
Thank you very much. I think Obi is not far from the truth. Because it's just like, I'm just trying to give an example, illustration of somebody who has a very deep wound. And then instead of you going directly into the wound and see how you can heal it, you just clean the surface. You find out that you will not get a good result, but until when you get a vaccine that will go to the right from inside, and you bring it now permeate outside so that you can see a complete healing. You're just trying to make somebody whole. If you look at the very critical that we're just talking about, so you find out that economy, which facet, which part are we talking about? In terms of the fuel, it's very expensive. In terms of electricity, it's very expensive. In terms of food commodities, they're very expensive. In terms of social life, again, or most of these social gathering again, they're expensive. So, which one is telling us that it has? Because the issue is that all of them don't know about what is going on in the market. He has food that is being provided by the states. He has petroleum that is being provided by the states. His aircraft is being provided by the states. He's going there again. He will stay there in the hotel. He's being food by the state. They will give him pocket money by the state. So how will he feel? How will he know about what we're talking about? Unlike me and you that we have to work, and at the end you get your own pay. And apart from that pay, nothing comes into your pocket again apart from that. So definitely, how can the economy be better again? You have 3 children or 4 children, you have to look after people their school fees. How much you pay for that? You have friends, you have relatives, you have people like local ministers, they call for this thing. How will you survive it? So it's unfortunate that what people have been saying that those are on paper. You bring us figures on paper and say that the economy has been this, has been stabilized, they have reached their target, budget target. Unfortunately, I have said this several times, that this fuel is one of the most critical sectors in our economy. Once you touch it, you touch everything. But if it's able to have make it kind of a real balance deal, we have a better economy. Because if for a reason now you brought the fuel price to about 300 naira, you find out that if I'm going to fill my tank, about 9,000 naira to fill the tank, which is quite low, or you bring it at 200, that's 20,000 to be able to fill my tank. You find out that I will be able to manage myself for the next three weeks. If I got the tank, in more money, I shouldn't spend more than 40 to 50,000 naira. If I'm earning about 100,000, I should be able to survive a bit. Then you look at the issue of subsidy in electricity. You remove it. And up to now, you are still collecting money from federal government again. The true chain, the value chain of the supply system is not really, it's been jettisoned on the basis that there's the distributor, there's the transmission, and there's all of them. At the end, you find out that all those things are just, when they come and collect money from government, they collect money from you again. It becomes so worrisome. So I think you should go and do more of a feasibility study and know exactly what is it talking. Is it real? Is it real, or just gimmicks?
You see, the merry-go-round never really stopped. That's one of the major issues that we're experiencing. The president comes out and said, we've met our revenue target for 2025, the economy is becoming better, things are coming down, Naira is stabilized. But just as we were even thinking and seeing how the economy is getting better, the president also has slammed a 5% tax on petroleum products. Philip, 5%. If you buy fuel, 50,000 naira, you pay 5%, 2,500 naira on that. First of all, this revenue, where is it going to? What are the developmental strides that we have seen to acquire? I've always said something. I said we must look at it, at the fact that the cost of doing business must relatively come down. I don't know if you understand. If I'm cargoing things by air from Lagos to Abuja, it should come down by 50 or 75%. The cost of doing business. 5% to take effect from January on petroleum products when we are saying that the thing is too much?
You see, I think the presidency or the government of today, they are looking away from the drivers of the economy to see that drive the economy either way, either to be stabilized or to be hard on people. And these drivers of the economy, as at today in this country, is inflation. In Nigeria, the transportation, which is petroleum, and then the other factors. Mr. President is talking that he's thinking kind of taxing, petroleum products at the rate of 5%. That is what you suffer when you drive an economy that is consuming and not producing. And that is why when Obi come with the mantra in 2023 that one of his cardinal points is to move Nigeria away from consuming economy to producing economy. So, what do you do when you import everything that you consume in an economy? You have to tax, you have to pay for, because what it means that you are going to pay for importation, you are going to pay import duty and all of that, and cost of transportation, importing and all of that. And you have to pay for that. And President forget to realize that when you tax the petroleum product, you are increasing the burden of the masses, because everything to water that into transportation, and transportation encompasses all. It will be reflected in our food, in our clothing, even in our children's school fees and the rest of it. Why do I say so? Because people have to move from one place to another, and the man who is going to convey you, if he's going to pay additional 5% for whatever fuel that is going to consume to take you there, they have to build it into the cost of fare that they will pay to him. So, that's why Peter Obi's, reply, the government. The government is about elevating, alleviating people's body, not to increase their burden. But what the government is known for, this present government, is to increase the burden of the masses, because at every point in time, they are coming with one task or the other, because it is this government, on the very first day of assumption, did away with fuel subsidy without putting in place plan to cushion the effect of the removal of the fuel subsidy. As if that were not enough, this same government, within few days of resumption, floated the naira that we need to allow the naira to, the market factor to determine the naira, strength. And now, and other taxes have been on, and now we are faced with the fuel tax that is going to be 5%. How are we going to survive? But he just told us that, look, with our prayers and our patience and our perseverance, the people have been blocked, the hemorrhage has stopped, the patients are out of the hospital, and that we're better off. So let's see as we progress whether this 5% increment or tax of petroleum product, how it's going to help the society. But one thing is clear. One thing that is very clear is that Nigeria is facing difficult situation, and the government need to do something. They don't just sit at the comfort of their office and then they just lift up theory from economic books and then start implementing it. You have to look at the theory that you are lifting from the book and substantiate it with the reality on ground, whether this theory can be of benefit to the people, or this theory it is not fit for this economy. Most of this theory they are trying to implement, they don't fit our economy. We are not there yet, and I don't think this 5% tax on fuel product is a good policy. 5%
on all tax products. If we look at the books, no developed or developing economy looks outside and bring out policies to implement in their government. But also, we don't live in an isolated environment or world where we cannot look up to other economies that are striving. Now 5%. We would have to take a look at maybe the Singapore model how they came up from where they are to where they've been to where they are now. Now imposing, we are crying about the failed subsidy removal. You are imposing another tax of 5%. Is it okay? Yeah.
Well, I think my advice is that Nigeria should resist it, because we have not even gotten out of this fuel subsidy removal. We are bringing 5% in, which means if I'm buying fuel, if I fill my tank with a rate of 50,000 or 100,000, you're going to get about 5,000. And how to even get the 8,000, I know how difficult it must be to get that kind of money. And then again to add with additional 5,000. It doesn't. Of what value does that should be? Where are you sending the money? Is it in education? Is it in the health sector? Or on the roads? Most of the roads are completely deplorable condition. If you drive along this Oba Express, normally when Buhari was there, the lights were on at all at night. You that's going to see the beauty of Abuja. If you are coming from the airport, the same thing. But now those things are not there. Those roads, I mean, you don't see one light. Why? And then you are charging them also online. You decided to the one that will come from you. You say no, you will not do it. The one that will hit on the people you put. So I think it's one the kind of government that is trying to impose a lot of hardship on people. And those are just the issue of this. The issue of saying that you are trying to get make more money or get more distance. So I mean, it's just punishment. The essence of governance is welfare and security. The welfare is not there. The security is not there. And that's why we are not coming to the government when they resist it, and you find a very tough if you do not push on that level.
Well, we will wish that the government takes steps to make sure that things get better and the right step in the right direction. Those are the things that we want. Now, let us go a little bit into Ibrahim, the Deputy Secretary of the PDP. He said, Wike, enough is enough. I mean, he said, I've been one of the persons that have been behind Wike. I've spoken about him, to him, you know, defending him on several occasions. He said, but it's time to let PDP move forward. I mean, I think people are coming to terms. I think the madness is over. I don't know. I should think the madness is over. People are coming to whether they were hypnotized, do you understand, at a particular point. But at this point, Ibrahim is saying that enough is enough.
Yeah, Ibrahim is the Deputy Publicity Secretary of the PDP as of today. And before now, I have been one of the biggest, strongest supporter. And he said that himself. You know, for Idris to come to say, look, yes, I've always agreed with you on issues, but as it is today, PDP is our party. Those issues, yes, at that time they were there, but we can't continue forever to solve. There must have to be a time that we move away from our pain and see how we can build our future. But if you decide to remain where you've always been, then you are your home. You know, Idris was saying this, and he also said that, look, the truth remains that, yes, all these things were there, but today you are working your own, the government of power, which the PDP is opposed to. And if we continue this way, we will be ending up killing our party for the interest of the man you are working for. And that is not the interest of the reality of the members of the PDP, which he is a believer that the PDP is a better party than the party in power. So therefore, whether you are working for them or not, at this point, you better, change your parties, or else you will lose your followers. In fact, you've already lost one of your supporters, and many more will go, because people are coming, like I said, people are coming to reality, people are coming to terms with what is on ground. If you are singing praise of this man all the time, people are feeling pain, like we just said. You look at the naira, now you are taxing the fuel product, the only means of transportation, and you know what it means when, before now, when fuel price goes up, what it affects every single thing in this country, every fabric of society, from the food on you are saying that you don't want an opposition, because what we can do amount to the fact that every other party should die for APC to survive, which is one party thing, and so that APC can continue with this obnoxious policies that are not in favor of the people, and then the people suffer to die, which is one of the key things that the PDP is against. And that is why Idris has come to say, look, our party frown at this kind of situation. They frown at the poverty of the people, pain, hardship of the people. Rather, they opt for social justice and egalitarian society for all. So if you have changed that, you have lost, you are no longer in tandem with our party ideology, then there's no way we could be together.
Abdullahi Ibrahim, Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party. These guys have stood with Nyesom Wike, the FCT minister, for a long time. Now, I'm sure you are quite conversant with most of these activities. These people have come back and said, we can't continue like this. I've never really seen a man that fights his family. It's possible there is for another family. This one, Wike said, PDP is my family. Now you're fighting your family for a morsel of bread. How sustainable is this?
Well, thank you very much. At this time that some people are coming to reality, to terms with what Wike, at least we've known Wike for when he contested for the presidency. Some of us stood by him, some of us were with him, and I knew how some of us people muzzled a lot of support for him. Unfortunately, he lost. I expected in clear terms that there are things that must have heralded after the loss of his presidency. And he came for the vice president, it didn't still work, and then he became very wild. Some of us still believe that he was trying to vent his anger. But if you have vented your anger for almost over 1 year, and then you now went against your party and your party lost, and then the party in power now gave you the kind of a slot to be a minister, a very super minister, and then you are taking that again as an advantage to make things difficult for everybody. You started from your state, you make sure that you remove the governor, because even if it was very unconstitutional and everything, and bring it back, people kept quiet. We came back to PDP again, they said they must own it. They said no. There were a lot of squabble between him and the National Working Committee, and then he went to court. Since the court happens to be one of his ardent distance that give him, we'll go and open the wardrobe and give him judgment, and come back and implement it, and then everybody will keep quiet. And they said, anybody that does not respect judgment, you want to go to jail. I think to a certain level, we're gradually going back to a kind of terrorism. And I want to call for caution. In as much as it's going that way, you should be very careful, because you cannot be bigger than the society. A tree cannot be bigger than, one tree cannot make a forest. It's a simple matter that he felt, look, I have gone that way. If I were him, just part quietly and go. If you're not, why should you be afraid of another party to demarch? If you're doing the right thing, this is democracy. If you are doing the right thing, go ahead and allow the party to go. But we're trying to go here and make headway. You go and block it there. They go to ADC, you go and block them there. They're going to, you come back, say the PDP. You can't have the two in politics. The rules are there, the constitution is there. You cannot be in one party and another party. They will expel you. They've tried to make sure how to manage you, but you are still coming back to make a lot of trouble, create another difficulty in the party. So what Ibrahim said is just nothing but the truth. Most of these people that have been with him, some of them are gradually coming out to leave, allow him to go and enjoy. Even those people that is trying to, who are those people that is making? The same thing wanted to cause problem in the North Central Congress. They went and brought an APC stooge. They wanted to make him the chairman of North Central. When at the Congress, they decided to chase him out, say, no, this man is not truly, if we give it to him, he's going to sell out. And they voted a different candidate. He was making trouble that, unfortunately, maybe he found out the voice was too strong. He kept quiet. So you can't be stronger than the structure. In as much as we are a lone voice, because of course you said you are trying to bring the influence of either the being in government or the money you've acquired illegally from being a public servant or others. I think you cannot be more. If matters, some other people have their own more than you. If it's a distance, so I think I would rather advise him again. This shouldn't be an advice. They should warn him again. He should be very careful, because the way he's going, he may end up going to cause problems. I remember when he told Mr. President that, look, this Wike you're bringing, tomorrow if you have a problem with Wike will go after you. And I hope Wike will not be the one that will cause you're down for the future election. So I think
but one of the other men that added his voice is the National Publicity Secretary, Debo Ologunagba. All right, Ologunagba. He said that as at this time that we have, there's no any court issue that they have.
Absolutely.
There's no injunction from any court.
Absolutely.
So this voice is coming out, is gaining a lot of width. Do you understand? Looking at PDP is standing on a strong ground. Do you think the PDP that is being formed now in this solid way, do you think they can sustain it?
Of course, you know, they have pushed them to the wall. And everybody is now ready to stand up and defend himself. And I'm sure he's seen it. Because the last meeting they had to bring, most of them had to come, look, we have to come and chase this rascality and make sure that this thing is out. So I find it it becomes very laughable to me, because I listened to Fayose very well. When Olujimi, they come to APC, he said, is there any PDP again? They were, you see, he was boasting, we are the PDP here. So everybody have left, we left them. Now again, when you're trying to, when they have they have been trying to bring stability in the party again, you are now going back to come and do Congress. For who? Those that left, or those that are still within? Those that leave them, let them go ahead. The same thing with Ebonyi, because they had issues at that time, and because they had to go election, they said they would still conduct the Congress. But Anambra has been duly elected. It was the due process were being followed, and then you're coming back because of Samanya, because you have some boys there that didn't put them. You want to go and bring. I think sometimes we should be very careful, because by the time you go this way, and if at the end of it you did not succeed, other party take over, you know you will not find it easy. Because if you want to show that you are very distant, they will prove it to you. We saw what they did to Fayose now. At the end, at least, even though he's just been camped, when he was trying to be stubborn, what happened? So, in as much as you want to jettison true democracy and enshrine a kind of terrorism, if everybody enter there, he wants to bring him his own madness too. The same thing is happening in Akwa Ibom. The governor left to APC, yes. But he still hold the structure. He says he's still paying the party officer, he's still paying the dues, bills of this. I find that in politics, if you have left, if you are no more in party, you are no more in party, leave, so that you go and allow the other people to build up.
This governor is supposed to be a politician like a pastor.
Well, you know, sometimes he's a politician, sir. But me, at this time, anybody that have left the pulpit is a politician, because when they go there,
no, he has not left the pulpit.
I don't think.
No,
well, for me, he's a politician. For now, he's a politician. He's not a pastor, because if he's a pastor, you go and stay there. You can't do the two things together now.
No, you can.
Of course, how will you be effective? Because if you look at it as a pastor, there are so many responsibilities you take on your knees. There are so many responsibilities you take on your personal private time. You have a private time to go and lock yourself and pray and seek God's face before you go and meet the people. Will you have that time? You are dealing with government. Governance is there.
There are pastors that still pastor and do secular
You will not
jobs.
find it difficult. Well, secular job is quite different from being a head of a public servant, especially number one citizen of the state, or from the subnational or the district. I know if you are there, you know how it's not easy, because first and foremost, the kind of pressure you get from people is not easy. People are looking for this one, this. There's a problem here, there's a flood problem, there's a board mishap, there's a distant. It's still on the head, back on the head. And then you come back in the church. Will you face the church? How will you face the church?
Okay, well, away from that a little bit, let's not make a pastor, governor, and our board of contention. I mean, Tinubu still have some, I don't want to call them cronies, he has some allies. Let me not call them cronies, they're allies that stays with him. People like Otto, people like Ogwani, there are people like former governor of Abia State, Ikpeazu, and now it looks as if the governor of Ibadan, Oyo State, has left them a little bit. We don't know if that is a gang up, but they recruited Fayose, former governor of Ekiti State, you know, with them. Now, as they go on, will these people still remain with him? Looking at what Debo said, Debo said, we don't have any injunction right now, but he still has some allies with him.
You know, I said it yesterday that PDP have done everything necessary for their convention people. They have met the constitutional requirement. All they needed to do is to notify INEC of their convention by the provision of the Electoral Act as amended in 2022 and by the PDP Constitution. And that letter that's supposed to notify INEC is meant to be duly signed by the chairman and the secretary, national chairman and the national secretary of the party, which was duly signed by Damagu and Senator Sam Ayamu and has been sent to INEC. Whether Wike and his cronies or his ally wants to go to court and come with injunction and go and chop for court the judgment to restrict PDP, it's yet to be seen. But how they will succeed is another matter, because the apex court of the land has said it clearly that, you know, if parties' affair is strictly eternal matter, and the courts of the land lack jurisdiction to entertain any matter emanating from party, you know, dispute, that the parties should, what is the word now? Should activate their internal mechanism to settle their internal dispute. So, if PDP has said they are doing convention and they follow all the due process, and Wike is ranting and threatening with countries, that's why Labour said, look, as of today, we are going ahead with our convention. We don't have any court injunction, and we don't expect anyone, because you have to have a ground to go to court to ask for injunction. Okay? So, yes, he has his ally in the person of Bazo, the former governor of Enugu State, Fayose, and the rest of them, and many others that we don't know yet, who do not have name and face. Yes, you know, this is a country that has been weaponized into poverty. Don't forget this. Don't be fooled by these big names. Most of them they are not what you think they are. They are as poor as you are. So Wike is the one, you know, taking care of them. So they will always do.
These are all former governors.
Yes, that's why I said,
including the secretary of the party.
I've said here that don't be fooled by the names. Most of them are as poor as you are. So, because one thing you have to take into consideration, when a man is big, in quote, bigness as a big man, his problems are also big.
Very large.
So when you say they are former governors, their responsibility and liability are also very, very large. So they need somebody to support them, because the flow of the income is no more there. But the responsibility refuses to go, the liability refuses to go. So they are not as rich as you think they are. So as of today, Wike is their breadwinner or their source of income. So they must play along. But from what we heard from the Assistant National Public Secretary, Idris, that, look, I'll be your supporter, but enough is enough. The game is up. I'm out of here. A lot of them will come to say so, because, like he said, you could do all you want to do. You could be so sure, because you are not God. Because it is clear in the scripture that God is the one that gives power, and God is the one that takes away power. Whether you manipulate to get it, if God does not allow it, you won't have it in the first place. Those your manipulation can fail you if God is not for you. So, if this power move away tomorrow, this song is singing now will not be there. So, yes, you will see more of Idris in the Wike's camp in the days ahead.
Okay, all right. Let's round up the PDP talk a little bit. I'll just throw this question at you. The group is saying that open PDP's presidential ticket. It should not be only reserved to the South. I know that PDP are resolute on that. They've already adopted that. But all these flashes here and there, do they really matter?
For me, that's the best decision they've taken. Just take it to the South. Those people that are coming and ranting that they want to take it, they shouldn't make it open. Are the same people that caused us problems last time. I know the likes of Gbenga, Hashim, Olawekpo are the ones making those kind of agitations. And for me, I believe that he's just making a kind for God's sake.
When has
when it was not the PDP, the stakeholder in PDP.
Yes.
When even joined the PDP, I knew he used to be in SDP on those days.
No,
we have been moving one party.
No, yeah, you know, during the inception of PDP,
he was there.
He was the public secretary or deputy public secretary.
Most
of
likely,
PDP.
yeah, he was there.
Yes,
but at some point, he just kept. He went mute, and then we never had about
he left politics at a particular
point. So
I think it's the publicity secretary of the PDP that said it yesterday. I can't remember who exactly, but he was saying that, look, it's always been the tradition of the PDP. They have done their zoning. Anybody who thinks otherwise,
they go and pick a form. Nobody will stop him now.
Test his popularity.
Nobody will stop him because
if the party are taking a decision, they will follow it up. Through. So you that is a dissenting voice, go and try.
They will sell the form to everybody.
If PDP has said they have zoned their ticket to SAT, that does not mean that people from the north or north central are not entitled to pick the form. But one thing is to pick the form, another thing is to get the ticket.
Get the support from the people, because
That's
definitely
it.
that was what happened in June 2003 when Abubakar Rimi picked the ticket against Obasanjo. They allowed him to go and pick. Now, then he didn't even get the, I don't know whether how many votes did get on the primaries. So
Because
when they've already zoned it, and that's why they stood their own ground. They cannot go, you cannot go front and come back in at the same time. When you're going forward, you go front. So it's democracy. And there's a kind of a freedom of to associate,
Yes.
freedom to express, and freedom to make choice. So if he's not happy with it, of course nobody will say they will not sell form to him. Unlike when we did June Jonathan, when they said that the only one form, you have only one form, and the form has finished. And there's no
That's what APC was said recently. They had a
well, they must have learned from the mistake of what happened. Most likely, I hope they will do that. But however, they did it in Buhari now. At Buhari time, second time, nobody picked the form. It was one form, and nothing happened. So I think it's just the same thing.
Let's look at ADC very briefly. He said we demand some respect. He said there are protocols on changing of names and all that at the INEC portal. He said not that we were rejected or whatever. We don't have issues with that. He said I think we demand some respect. That the David Mark camp stands as the real authentic leadership of the ADC. I mean, they're blowing a little bit hot.
Yes, you see, I don't know why the ruling party always want to play politics with every other political party's crisis. It is not surprising that the city president, who is the leader and the head of the ruling party, has said that he derives pleasure from seeing the opposition in disarray. If ADC had internal issues or they had issues with INEC, it is not for the media to take it to the level they are taking it. And it is clear, that there are process and procedure that every political party follow as required by laid down rules. And ADC has said that, look, it is not of INEC to say who is the leader of a political party. It's of the party itself to choose their leader and notify INEC. INEC, the law requires that for them to watch, and they are not saying that they supervise the election of the leadership of the party, but that they should be an observer to ensure that the laid down rules are being followed. And the only requirement is for them to be present. And it's not even a must. What is required is for the party to notify INEC of their elections or their congresses. If INEC fails to honor, they will go ahead and conduct their congresses and submit the act congress to INEC. And if INEC fail to honor it, the party reserve the right to go to court to compel INEC to recognize the act, what has taken place in their congresses. So I don't see the that they're saying that ADC, David Mark is not recognized. What who said is not recognized? Has ADC come to say that they never appointed David Mark and his team as the technical committee interim chairman of the party at the moment? Is that what they said to INEC? So all these are just politics. It is still all well down to the build-up to the 2027 general election.
But in any case, what I will say is, looking at there are procedures in administration.
Yes.
You can't just go and enter somebody's house and then take over the house and then thinking that you've taken again a house. There must be protocol and procedures.
Yes.
Every party must be involved, and let's have a kind of parting. You have an agreement, a cordial understanding, and then have a parting message to everybody. Say, okay, fine. Of all consensus, we have agreed to hand over the party to you, and that's exactly what maybe I felt. David Mark did not follow those much protocol on that, because if one person said no on one party, you have problem. Definitely have problem, because provided it's a signatory, yes, he has a stake in that party. So I think they should go back and look in it and see what did we not do right and get it right. Because when I remember when we were trying to take when PDP was in disarray with Sheriff, Falai brought the SDP to hand over to the PDP, and it was a unanimous decision among all of them. At the end, one of them came out and said he was not party to it. Until we followed him And we have to persuade him and allow him to agree, and he accepted. And that's when he now appended the signature, and then we have a swift transition to the PDP. And then, fortunately, the Supreme Court gave a judgment to the PDP, and the PDP went back to its own full house. And then this one was on suspension. So I think issue of protocol, issue of procedures, and administrative distance must be ethics, must be adhered to.
NWC,
must be adhered to.
meeting.
Neck meeting. And
they've not had those kind of things.
Distance.
And, it's very paramount. Except what they should do now is to go and rearrange and not be forcing it and saying, we are taking over. Procedures, rules must be followed.
They
too should learn what is right.
It's ultimate.
Before the Nigerian populace can even trust them to rule Nigeria, they should learn to do what is right. It's very important. They should not say.
If we are taking SDP data, you are there. If they don't consult you as one of the key stakeholders, you will say no. Now, when they say no, and now I say no, that's why there will be a kind of disarray. So I think we should have a kind of a holistic understanding, and it should be a symbiotic relationship between you and everybody, both the NEC, the NWC, and even the BOT.
Exactly.
That you know that crisis will not finish.
They should always know that this is not animal farm.
After all,
and it's not a Kalamazoo.
Are you sure Nigeria today is not an animal farm?
No, it looks as if, but it's not.
We're not. We're responsible.
The time is coming.
We're very responsible.
And it's very soon.
It's a matter of time.
Where most of them are going to be sorted.
We're responsible. We're very responsible. Yes.
All right.
Except if you join them now, they've given you money, you chop, then you keep quiet. And some people are very funny.
Well, the former Minister of Communication said that's true. He said, I really feel for El-Rufai at the moment. He said El-Rufai worked for this APC government, and now he's an outsider. He's been ousted. I'm not going to say he resigned. He's been, even before his resignation, he was ousted from the party. The party he labored for, the party he worked for, the party he helped to form. Now he's running from pillar to post. He handed over to a governor, he handpicked the governor, now the governor is now against him. He's trying to be a member of SDP, SDP is in disarray, he's trying to be a member of ADC.
They suspended him for 30 years. 30 years or 300 years. 30 years.
30 years. I mean, El-Rufai is like a man without a home at the moment. Philip, El-Rufai, Shitu said he really sorry. He said, I wish there's a way I can help.
Well, the point of correction, El-Rufai is not a man without a home. El-Rufai, remains a member of the SDP because that's what he said. He was on channel on Sunday, one-on-one politics. He said, I remember of the SDP, and in the ADC, when I was part of those who spearheaded the coalition, myself and Peter were excused to remain in a party. And what party did he mention? My SDP for some critical election. He made mention of the Niger State election that is coming up in November. So he's a man without a home. He's a member of SDP. All parties in Nigeria, they are different crises and what have you. So it is not right to say that El-Rufai is not without a political.
No, because then I would like to continue. Because from what pictures that we can see, for example, when he went on campaign in Kaduna during the media election, we saw him. If he says in SDP, he was holding ADC flag.
I just said that El-Rufai is part and parcel of the coalition that adopted it.
So which candidate did he stand with during the media election? No, I'm listening to you.
That adopted the ADC during the by-elections in Kaduna.
Yes.
The ADC candidate for Kaduna South or part of Kaduna, that local government was a Christian local government, and the SDP feeded a Muslim candidate, and as it were, the ADC which is part of feeded a Christian candidate, which is better for the area, so he campaigned for it. And in Zaria, he campaigned for SDP candidate, which area that is Muslim, and the SDP feeded a Muslim candidate. So that is clear. We should have to get the facts right.
The fact you are telling us now, we are tandem with those facts.
Yes.
But in Chukun, you campaign for ADC. Yes, I'm agreeing with what you're saying.
The coalition he belonged to adopted ADC as the party the coalition will use, and if ADC is feeding a candidate, it's part of ADC, because by feature of being a member of the coalition that adopted ADC, so it is his right to campaign for an ADC.
So when he now gets to Zaria local government,
yes,
right?
Where he comes from?
Where he comes from?
Remember,
no, hold on, let me finish.
Remember that the coalition has excused him to remain in his party, which is the SDP.
That's what I'm saying, that we don't know the home which he belongs.
His home is
He's in SDP. He's in ADC. Until November.
Okay. He has said it. It is clear. It's on paper. It's on the public domain that ADC, as it is today, has excused Peter Obi and El-Rufai to remain their respective political party, which is the SDP and Labour Party, until November, that they may have done with their critical elections. November is the Anambra State governorship election. November, there will be an election in Niger State, which El-Rufai has said on the Sharia platform last Sunday. So you cannot say that the man is a man without a home. So coming to the issue of the former minister, that is, the former minister makes it very clear that the issue of Kaduna is very delicate. That he sympathizes with El-Rufai, that he feel for him, but he cannot come out to support it. That this is a man who knows the truth, but because he's a man, a lily liver person, he could not come out to say, to chest out to say that this is the truth. But if you look at his statement, he said that yes, this man is wronged, but I am not in position because I don't trust myself. I don't want to be in that kind of position. So I'm staying away. But truth be told, this man is not properly handled. That's the summary of what he said. All
right, Ishaya, we've always known El-Rufai to be a very controversial figure. For example,
extremely.
There were standards and rules that were set in Kaduna State. The governor, most of the time a Muslim, the deputy governor a Christian. El-Rufai changed the dynamics, and as we have in Kaduna State today, we now have a Muslim and a Muslim ticket. El-Rufai changed those dynamics. Do you think, even the Kaduna that he comes from, that the people are happy with him, both on the Christian and the Muslim side?
El-Rufai is licking his wounds. He's licking his wounds because the evil El-Rufai has perpetrated in the people of Kaduna State is what is haunting him. And why would I feel for El-Rufai? El-Rufai that does not even care when people have been killed, he does not even care. People that show it clearly. He went against the oath of the office he took, that said he would be fair to all. He decided to be fair to his people and decided to jettison the people of Southern Kaduna. We had the kind of sharing, I mean, the demography of election comprises that you take the governor is a Muslim, the deputy is a Christian, the SSG is a Christian, the head of service is a Christian, the deputy speaker is a Christian. But as of now, completely all those people are all Muslims. How would some? And he said, I listened to him very well. He's still not apologetic on this matter. So how can I feel for that kind of human being? That's nothing but completely disaster to the Kaduna State, because there's no way that man will have penetrated in Kaduna State, because they don't like him. Because if he entered there, you go and when he came in ab initio, we thought he was one of the, at least he has a kind of he may be a liberal person, but then he shows his own color, and they say he doesn't need the Southern people to win a nation. And if they had, I asked somebody, say, has he ever won an election? Has he ever won an election there? He will make sure he carried by force. The least one that they brought, Ubasani, did they win the election? How can he have the whole 3 senators? The whole Kaduna State are PDP. At least about 18 or about 18, 20 of member House of Rep are PDP. Then you won the election again as one governor won it. So you see, those are, they didn't even, it because of the protest they had against El-Rufai. That's what made that this would go that way. And he's not even a good administrator. On the basis that he fixed plenty roads in Zaria, plenty roads in Kaduna Central, but cross that bridge they are going to Kaduna, you won't see one, just few, handful. And when they spoke about that issue of this they said that he's trying to say that the ratio between the Christian and Muslim is just 25%. How can I say 25%? Southern Kaduna have about 90% of Christians. Anywhere, anybody that have been there knows that's it. And then if you come to in terms of ratio within the state, there's no way. At least Southern Kaduna, the Christian form a population of more than 40-45%. And I don't know why he's getting his own distance, because the whole of Southern Kaduna is less than 90%. Southern Kaduna is just a few. When they say now, if you come from Chikun and Kajuru, they're still part of Southern Kaduna. If you go to television, if you go to Submission and rest, they're still part of Kaduna.
Yeah.
Then if you even go within this, the central Kaduna North, they are part of them. If you go to Kauru, they are part of them. If you go to Saminaka, they are, where will you now? How will you now tell us that they have the bigger distance? Apart from even within Zaria City, if you go to Zaria City,
Wusasa
and the
area.
rest, even within the some part of the city, we have them. Sabongari, they are part of. And then it's just that's why when you listen, I think it's just a religion bigot, and it's not even. In fact, if there is a law, they should penalize him completely from earning in public office in Nigeria, because the man has caused a lot of pain to the distance, and I don't think he's somebody I will ever associate myself with. In fact, how will I feel his own pain? It's just going to stay there and do what he's doing, because he's not even a good person.
Okay, we want true repentance from because nobody that we cannot forgive if they are.
Of course, now why not? If he's ready to repent, but if he's not, let him go ahead and face one day this now.
Because I will always say it, and I will say it again and again. El-Rufai used to be my man, because he turned Abuja from one place to another place. The foundation to which we are living a good life in Abuja today, most of them were set by El-Rufai. You cannot deny the fact.
Of course, sure.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I just came to Abuja, there used to be bikes everywhere. This Julius Berger used to be a place of like Oshodi in Lagos, where even human parts were sold. But El-Rufai changed the dynamics of the whole place. He can return back again. He's better to finish good.
Wish him the best. Wish him well.
Yes. Okay. Lastly, let's look at the information minister, the Tinubu government. He said they've done a lot of things, beautiful things. But you see, I'm not saying that they've not done good things, but it should impact on the life of the people. The moment it doesn't impact on the life of the people, we don't see what they have done. I mean, if there are long-term measures, there should be cushioning effect. Like Okojo Iweala said, he said the social net should be spread. He said if the social net is spread, I mean, I can get something to eat now while I'm waiting for something bigger. Hope is not renewed in this case. That's what we are saying. Philip.
Well, the man works for somebody and he has to do the man's bidding. What did you call his portfolio?
Information minister.
What are you supposed to do for the government?
Image maker.
Exactly. And that's what he's doing. They have gone to Sokoto to, kickstart the image making project in Sokoto State by telling them the good things, the beautiful things the government is doing. They made mention of the construction of the Sokoto Badagry highway and the dualization of Sokoto down to Niger or something.
Yes.
And that has brought a lot of economic growth to the area. Yes, you can't take it from him. He's just doing his job. In fact, that is one of the ministers of information in recent time that Nigeria has been known. I think he's picking up, and kudos to him. He should do more of it. Whether good or bad, he has to do his job. So I celebrate him.
Philip had very few things to say. He just talked about, but he listed some projects that have been done to him a lot. Do you think they are enough to give kudos to this government?
Well, the biggest mistake of this government, the biggest and the most crucifying mistake is that fuel subsidy. If that fuel subsidy is not there, of course, we should be able to see. I applaud them in one or two things. Especially if you look at Abuja or some of the routes that Wike is trying to, these are adjoining routes, those are feeder route that is opened now. Of course,
that's in FCT.
It is in FCT.
Which is a minute part of the nation.
Yeah, minute. Of course, we should see that one and say, of course, applaud them a bit. They did that. You understand? But because what spoiled this their project is because the people are hungry. People are complaining every day. How much are you paying to carry yourself here in this office to come and work? How much do you pay? How much were you paying before? If those things were not there, of course we should be able to see. And he said that's why they get money. For God's sake, there should be a kind of balance. The wastages is quite on the higher side.
In government.
In government, that's what we're talking about. Somebody said it birthday. I don't know where I heard about it. They contributed over 300 million. How many million? To host his own birthday of sometimes some years back. Where is the money coming from? You go for constituency project, you put plenty money, and at the end you take small and go and put, we just see a kind of water, a borehole, that is not there. Tomorrow, when they want to put the borehole, they go and carry water from well and give us to drink, and then tomorrow the irrigation is not working. And you see, we are doing this. Those are the wastages.
The biggest fraud now is what's it called? Street lights.
Street lights. How much are the value of this one? Why don't you go on this? Because some of them are not even too bright. So and look at the biggest fraud they did in trying to renovate this conference center that was built in far less than that. You collected something, how many billion just to renovate it, and I don't think there was a kind of thorough distance from distance. When I went there, I said it was just some of the doors that I know they were still there. And so what is the essence? Are you telling me that then people are hungry and they say, I hear your pain, I hear your suffering. Bear with me. For how long shall we bear with me? So that's one of the, and then Sokoto to Badagry. It's on paper. I don't know what, I have not seen it. Where have you seen where they've started it? They only that of the one they're doing to Calabar. Super, which one?
30 kilometers.
30 kilometers. Yeah, that's what they've done so far.
Yes.
And they've collected over how many trillion on that distance?
And it's to Calabar, 800 and something kilometers.
And then people that have their business there, they were destroyed without any compensation. So how do you think somebody will applaud you? You give me a rice. I'm hungry now. You give me a basmati rice and carry sand and pour inside, and then turn it and say I should go. How will I sort the rice and the sand?
Those basmati.
Yes, a basmati rice. How will I sort it and eat? By the time you bite one sand, the joy of that the meal is gone. So that's the kind of find ourselves. So we're looking for who will rescue us and give us a better Nigeria that some of us will all belong, based on this national anthem that he brought, that where no man is what is oppressed.
Minister of Information.
So he's an image maker. He's doing his job.
He's doing the job, like I said. He's doing his job. When I read what he said, say the construction of the Sokoto Badagry, you know, on the first Easter, you thought the road has been completed. So
still on paper.
They have not started. It's on paper.
So the man is doing the job. So you can't take it from him. You have to do the job. You have to promote the government. That's what he got paid for, and the rest of it. So.
Just like what Prof said last time when he was preaching, he said when they make him Minister of Information, that was the most difficult task.
Yes.
And he had to go speak. Whether it's true or it's not true, he must talk. Because otherwise they will say, oh boy, what are you doing here? When they brought, what's his name, the first man that took a Minister of Information during the passenger, this man from Lagos. Can I forget his name? When they removed him and then took him down, he was not saying anything. Everyone said, let's give somebody that can speak out. And they did it. So,
well, the Yaradua administration, we could normally call it Yaradua good luck Jonathan administration. But Yaradua administration, for the 2 years plus that it lasted, made an impact on Nigerians that we can never forget. I can remember very well, Edo State was under the rulership or administrative control of the PDP, and they lost at the court. The rule of law suddenly became what was it in the whole Nigeria. And everybody fell in love with Yaradua. He didn't last for long. Look at Abia State, what's happening there at the moment. I mean, I don't know, the man seems not to have a party, but the people are with him. It's what you need the people to be with you. The winning at all cost of this present administration and not minding electoral reforms, I think, is one of the biggest undoing of this administration. Trying to make the country a one-party state, it just innocents a lot of people in Nigeria. I think these are some of the changes the government needs to change, and they must know that anybody that is swimming should remember that we are seeing the person's back, because he thinks that he's inside the water, but we are seeing the back. A better Nigerians is what we clamor for and what we hope and pray for. The president told us not to insult or curse our country again. We will not curse our country, but we will talk when things are not doing right. Gentlemen, thank you for being with me this wonderful afternoon.
It's a pleasure.
It's Matters Arising on Landslide Podcast.